Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our In the Inbox series. We're answering question number 111 today, which was asked to us by Jorge. Jorge was looking for land here in Belize, and we came across two different types of properties, some that were in subdivisions and others that were in developments. And so naturally, he asked, what is the difference between a subdivision and a development? So we're going to talk about the top three differences between a subdivision and a development. So first and foremost, a development typically is an intentional master plan property where there's a developer presence to build out the property. Typically within developments, you have common areas, you have third spaces, you have community amenities, whereas a subdivision is more so just a large tract of land that somebody purchased, surveyed it into smaller parcels, and then sold that land off. Now, typically, when you're looking in a development, you're going to find that there's bylaws or CC&Rs, which stands for covenants, codes, and restrictions. And this is to ensure that all community members are adhering to the standards that the development was built upon. Whereas a subdivision, there typically are none of those bylaws or CC&Rs. So there are no restrictions as to what can be built. You can build whatever it is that you want. Third, there's usually some sort of fees associated with a development. Now, think about it. If there are going to be amenities, common areas, third spaces, roads, security, perhaps, then someone is going to have to pay to maintain that. And that comes to the community members in the form of an HOA, community maintenance fund, however it is that that development is wording the fees. Typically, though, with a subdivision, there are not going to be any fees. You're going to be responsible for paying your land tax, and that's it. But what's really important to understand is that if you're somebody who wants the amenities, who wants maintained parks, who wants orchards, who wants to have on-site management, for example, then you're typically going to be gearing towards a development. But at the end of the day, it really just depends what it is that you're looking to accomplish. We have a lot of clients who are just simply looking to land bank. They want to pick up land, they want to sit on it, they want to forget about it, let it appreciate it, come back, and then sell it down the line and hopefully make a profit. These people typically tend to gravitate towards subdivisions. But somebody who's thinking more so from a lifestyle perspective of or preserving your investment or knowing what's going to be going on around you, they're going to be gravitating towards developments. Again, for that peace of mind and for making sure that your investment is being looked after. But at the end of the day, it really just depends on what you're looking to accomplish. What we tend to find is that properties that are within developments tend to cost a little bit more than properties that are in subdivisions. Subdivisions, there's no guarantee that utilities are going to be going in. Only recently has the law been enforced where if somebody's coming in and doing a subdivision, in order to get final approvals for that subdivision, there needs to be an actual physical road, not just a road on a map, but you have to be able to go to the property, see that the land has been cleared out, and see that there's a road in order for that final approval to get done. This was not always the case. So there are many subdivisions throughout Belize where there's an easement on a map, but you don't actually have road access to get there. That typically would not be the case within a development. If there is a developer who's going to be building out this property, a master plan community, they typically will have access to all of the properties. But again, it just really depends what it is that you're looking for, how it is you want to accomplish that. Because if you are within that development, you will have, like we talked about, typically fees. And so that means your ongoing costs are going to be more than if you're just looking for that buy and hold. But we tend to see people who gravitate towards developments, they tend to be looking for more of a lifestyle. They want to be maybe spending some time down here in Belize, and they want to be preserving their investment of knowing what's exactly going on around them. And they also like that peace of mind of knowing that there are amenities and management or maintenance there on site to help guide them through things. So we're going to do a quick case study of two different properties, one that's a development and one that's a subdivision, and they're located right across the street from each other in Coyote, and you'll start to see some of the differences here that we're talking about. So this property is called Carmelita Gardens. It's a master plan development. The developer has been engaged in the build out of this property since he first purchased the land in 2010. At that time, it was just a cattle pasture here. So he has put a lot of time, money, energy into getting this property built out. As you can see, there are roads throughout the community, almost 100 acres. You can see there are roads to every single lot here in the community, and they're being maintained. In addition to that, there's maintained green spaces. We talked before about 10% of land needing to be allocated for some sort of community space when you're doing a new subdivision. This developer, he was doing a development, and so he wanted more land to be allocated to the community. So he actually allocated 20% of the entire project to green spaces. And within the green spaces, he's building out community orchards and gardens. Within this stretch of community space over here, there are mango trees. Within this community space right over here, he has growing papaya trees, citrus, limes. So you can see that there's a lot that's going into that. In addition to that, he's put river access points throughout the entire community. So even if the homeowner or the landowner is not located on the river, they're still able to go down to the river park, for example, with their folding chair, relax there in the river and get to enjoy the use of it. In addition to that, this developer has an in-house team who can help owners navigate through putting together floor plans. They have an architect, they have an in-house construction team. They also have a construction depot right over here on site to make it easier for building out your home. In addition to that, there's the community center, which is right over here where my cursor is. Also, there's a community pool that is going to be getting constructed. That's on the plans for 2015. A sundial, we think it's the largest sundial in Belize that is getting installed at this roundabout over here. Scout Park, which currently is a basketball court, a pickleball court. But you can see when you look at the drone photos that there's really incredible maintenance of this property, right? All of the common areas are maintained, the lawns are mowed. And yes, there is a fee that's associated with making sure all of this is maintained. I know that the fee for Carmelita Gardens, it's only $560 US a year, but that covers all of the maintenance and the upkeep to make sure that the property that you own is maintaining its value. In addition to that, there's an on-site management team. So let's say you're not living here in Belize, but you come and go. You want to make sure that your home is operating, everything looks clean. You can have the maintenance team go and clean your house twice a month, or just go flip on switches and make sure everything is working. Where typically within a subdivision, you don't necessarily have that there on site unless all of the homeowners come together and make that happen. In addition to that, they're allocated civic lots, which means there are certain lots within this development that are allocated for businesses. So if somebody wants to put up a restaurant, for example, they would have to do that in the civic lot and not on the residential lot. So it just helps with this whole community planning of knowing what's going to be going up next to you. Now, in addition to that, the seller here is offering financing, but you'll see these lots from 1/8 of an acre to 1/2 of an acre start at about $39,000. If we cross the street, literally we cross the street, we go into another subdivision, we're seeing that there's 1/4 acre lots here for 25,000 US. So they're lower in price, a little bit larger than the smallest lots at Carmelita, but they don't offer the same sort of amenities. There's a road access to get in. We actually drove through it a couple of days ago just to see exactly what it was. There were no allocated third spaces. In addition to that, the road was pretty poorly maintained. We had to certainly have a 4-wheel drive in order to get through, but it was like apples, like day and night, honestly, going through the subdivision across the street and then going through Carmelita Gardens. However, the thing to be considering is that within a development, a master plan development, it is going to be a little bit more expensive. It is going to have annual fees, but in order to preserve your investment and to make sure, again, you know what's going up next to you, it's not always a bad idea to be within a development. Now, sometimes developments aren't right for somebody, completely understand that. You want to be in your own space, away from everyone, and being in a subdivision could be right for you. Or perhaps you don't even want to be in a subdivision. You just want a larger tract of land to have your own space. But again, these are some of the key differences between being in a development, being in a subdivision, and again, thinking about your long-term goals to understand what it is and how it is that you want to accomplish that. If you're looking to own real estate here in Belize, reach out to our team at Luna Realty Belize. We have an incredible group of agents that can work with you to help determine where may be right for you. Of course, reach out to us for these complimentary resources. This is just one of many that we have if you're a foreigner looking to own that real estate here in Belize, and we would love to get these to you to your email. Email is probably the best, info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com, and we can go from there. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you here in person soon. Bye-bye.